As They Made Us came out on April 8th, and it's such an incredible film. What inspired this?
Well, it's not autobiographical, but there are definitely elements of my life in this film. My father passed away 7 years ago, and there's a very specific year of mourning in traditional Judaism. And after that year, I started putting down some thoughts, some music that came to me, some images that came to me. I wasn't planning on making a movie. I had never written a screenplay before. And I spoke to some very close mentors of mine and started developing it more as a script and kind of sat on it for a while. I really was not thinking this was going to be anything. And after many twists and turns, and then a delay for COVID, I finally got to make this film last summer.
What parts of making the film was the best parts for you?
I didn't set out to, kind of like make people cry. I hope that I also got to make people laugh, but I wanted to make a film that showed a family with mental illness, with addiction, like the things that we don't talk about, because many of us do grow up with those things and they follow us, they follow us into our present. And that's kind of the reason that there are all these flashbacks in the movie, is not because I didn't know how to tell an origin story. It's because things that happen in the present trigger memories and feelings that sometimes we're not even conscious of, that happened. It was also really special to get to show, the burden often falls on women, just historically speaking. It's the daughters who take care. And mostly I wanted to show that, even in families where there is trauma or abuse or addiction or mental illness challenges or chaos, there's also often a lot of love and a lot of laughter and a lot of connection. And that's confusing, yes. And it can be very uncomfortable. But in my experience, that's what life has been like, for many people that I know. It's all those things kind of mixed together.
Within this film, like you said, it's going through the pain of life experiences and losing a loved one, but also dealing with your traumatic past and really having that help connect your family. And you have a podcast that discusses mental health as well. So what is it about these topics that really resonates with you?
Well, I appreciate you, kind of mentioning the podcast, because this is, this movie is not the first thing I've done or the first interest I've had, in talking about mental illness. I do the podcast with a wonderful Canadian, hence me wearing this Toronto Raptors jersey today in support of that. But yeah, my podcast is Mayim Bialik's Breakdown, and I do it with Jonathan Cohen, who is Torontonian. And it's something that he and I are very passionate about. And at the beginning of COVID, we kind of realized, gosh, so many people are experiencing anticipatory anxiety and all these fears because there was a global pandemic. And we are so grateful that we've had an opportunity to be in therapy or to have a vocabulary to talk about it, but we wanted to bring that to more people. So for me, the movie is a different expression of that. I'm trying to normalize mental health by simply talking about it. And it's not everyone's experience. And it's, like I said, it's not even specifically mine, but I'm trying to tell a story about kind of that sort of impact. And it's important in my life. We didn't talk about those things. When I started struggling as a teenager, the solution was like, we'll put her on birth control, or we'll give her, like a Buspar or a Xanax, or, just like make it go away. And there's so much, that needs to still be processed even as we're adults.
And you have so many amazing and talented actors featured in this film, Dustin Hoffman, and the list obviously goes on. What was it like to work with such an amazing cast, but also behind the cameras?
It was very intimidating and exciting. Simon Helberg, I actually kind of cast in my head, and we were working on Big Bang Theory, when the origin for this movie started. Like, Simon knew my family. He knew when my father passed away. So for him to do this, Diana Agron, who I think portrays this character of, kind of like being torn in a million directions really beautifully. And then Dustin Hoffman and Candice Bergen play the parents. And, everyone really wanted to do this movie. You don't do small budget indies, because you're going to get rich from them. So for the actors, it's a real commitment to believe in a story. And it was very intimidating. I'm not going to lie. I was very nervous, mostly to direct Simon Helberg, because he was like my friend, and someone that I look up to. But also, we just finished our second season of Call Me Kat, which is the show I work on for Fox. And Julian Gant, who is on Call Me Kat with me, plays Darren, the caregiver in this film. And so it was really amazing to have like a friend from my current life and then Simon Helberg from my past life, sort of bridging, to give me some comfort as I was directing like a 2-time Oscar winner.